What's going on, guys? Nick here with another question. This one says, how to have a winning mentality, how to develop a winning mentality. This might sound dumb to some, but me and my high school soccer team have our district final in 2 weeks against our rivals, who always seem to want it more. I'm guessing the area where they are raised plays a role in this, but my question is, how do I keep a winning mentality? Like, I tell myself we can win, but there's always this feeling like I'm lying to myself to cope. How do I fix this and instill that mentality within my team? This is pretty challenging when it comes to team sports because there's really two ways that you can make this happen. Number one, if you're an impact player or you're a leader or you're an upperclassman. So this person is obviously in high school. They don't say how old they are. But if you're a junior or senior or a captain or some type of impact player, a player that the team knows can go out and make plays consistently. These are the type of leaders or teammates that can set the tone or set the culture for the team. That is one of the easiest ways that you can create this winning mentality, is to be in one of those positions, and then how you respond to things and how you act in practice. Those are going to be the things that people watch and they look up to, and then they'll start to follow you. So if, no offense to this person, but if they're on the bench, it's going to be very hard to create a lot of momentum with the team or really create that culture. If you're not one of those players that I mentioned, it comes down to coaching. So if you're a bench player, you come off the bench and you play a little bit, you don't have a lot of playing time, you can talk with your coach about this, and it's the coach's responsibility at that point to set the culture and set the tone of how this team should be or respond. Going back to how to develop this winning mentality, you can tell that this kid really wants to win, and you got to commend anybody for that, first of all. But second of all, they want to learn. How do I fix this, and how do I instill this mentality within my team? It starts in practice. It starts how you just hold yourself accountable to the small things. So I'm talking about things like, if you're running lines, it's running through the line or actually touching the line, actually going with an intense effort, not just going through the motions. You see far too many times when some of the, quote, leaders on the team, they just jog when you're doing extra conditioning, or they're really just going through the motions. How do you expect to perform? That person is supposed to be responsible for setting the tone amongst the teammates. They're supposed to be a leader. Now, when it comes to doing this on a team, it's so much more difficult, because not only are you trying to create this winning mentality in yourself, but now you have to hold each other accountable. On the plus, if you can get your team to come around, if you can get them all inspired and motivated, the opportunities are endless. But I want to tell you a story about why coaching matters on this. We had a preseason game against a team that was far larger than us, both in size and actually quantity of students. We're in the film room and we're watching our opponent early in the weekend. Our coach says, all right, guys, you play this team 10 times. Actually, you play this team 100 times, and you're going to lose 99 times. But there's that one time that you might just win. And that's where he left it. There was no inspirational quote to finish it off or anything. It was kind of like, oh, okay. Everybody's mood just plummeted. Nobody was excited at that point. Now, me being an older person on the team, it kind of fired me up, because why would you even bring that up we were a younger team, so why would you even bring that up and put it into the minds of these younger athletes that they're going to listen to whatever the coach says? So we had to take it upon ourselves as some of the older kids on the team and actually create a culture of a winning mentality. So it fired me and some of my older teammates up, and we raised the expectation that week in practice. The speed was much faster. We were much more intense in our drills, and we really wanted to shock the world at that point, because even our coach didn't have any faith in us. Come to find out, in that game, we take the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and at halftime, it was tied 14-14. Ultimately, we ended up losing 28-14, but it was a much closer game than even my coach had expected. And it just goes to show that the mentality starts with leadership, coaches and leaders on the team. But I do want to encourage you that if you do want to create this winning mentality, this is something that you can take for the rest of your life. First, you're going to have to set the example, and then you're going to have to be that example. You're going to have to do things right and do them well. If you want to be a winner, you have to expect some amount of pressure that people are going to be watching you, mostly to look up to you, but they're also going to be watching you to mess up. They're going to be looking at every single move that you make because they're following you. So I would encourage this young athlete, it starts within. If you want to have a winning mentality, start within. If you're not in a position to have a voice on the team, go to your coach. But you can always start doing these things. And as you develop, you're going to make a name for yourself and you're going to be one of the players that all of your teammates respect. That's all I got for this one. If you want to drop a comment, start a conversation, leave it there. Let's talk. I'll talk to you guys soon.